Some places call to you quietly, like a gentle breeze that stirs your curiosity and tugs at your heart. For years, I felt a subtle pull toward a land I'd only glimpsed in books and documentaries, a place that seemed both mysterious and inviting, waiting patiently for me to listen. And for me, that place was Vietnam. Its name echoed in my mind, not just as a destination, but as a promise of discovery and transformation. I found myself daydreaming about its landscapes, its people, and the stories woven into every corner. I'd always heard its name in history, often in the context of conflict and resilience. Vietnam was a word heavy with meaning, conjuring images of war, struggle, and survival. But I sensed there was so much more beneath the surface, layers of culture, tradition, and hope that rarely made the headlines. I wanted to peel back those layers, to see the Vietnam that thrived beyond its past. I imagined the laughter echoing through hidden alleys in Hanoi, the warmth in the eyes of people going about their daily lives, and the quiet strength that seemed to define the nation. I was drawn to its emerald rice paddies, vibrant street life, and the intoxicating aroma of street food wafting through the air. The colors, the sounds, the energy of Vietnam seemed to leap from every photograph and story I encountered. And a history as deep as the Mekong, winding through centuries of change and adaptation. The river itself felt like a living memory, carrying with it the tales of generations who had called its banks home. My journey began with a dream, not a plan, a longing to experience the real Vietnam. I pictured myself drifting through floating markets at sunrise, the air thick with the scent of fresh fruit and the chatter of vendors. I craved the taste of strong, sweet coffee in a Hanoi cafe, watching the world go by as scooters zipped past. And the dance of daily life, people weaving through crowded streets, markets bursting with color and life, each moment a story unfolding before my eyes. I wanted to witness the rhythm of Vietnam, to feel its pulse and let it guide me. I longed to see the smiles of children playing in dusty village lanes, to hear the wisdom of elders over cups of tea, and to be welcomed, even briefly, into the fabric of everyday life. I wanted to be more than a tourist. I wanted to listen, to connect, to let Vietnam reveal itself to me. I hoped to share meals with families, to learn a few words of the language, and to understand the customs that shaped each community. With an open heart and a suitcase of hope, I set off, leaving comfort behind for the unknown. Every step felt like a leap of faith, a promise to embrace whatever the journey would bring. I knew this would be more than a holiday. It would be a journey into the heart of a nation, and into my own. I was searching for connection, for meaning, and for a sense of belonging in a world so different from my own. The whisper of Vietnam became a song I couldn't ignore. It grew louder with every story I heard, every image I saw, until it became impossible to resist. I was ready to be changed, to let the country's beauty, complexity, and spirit leave their mark on me. I wanted to collect memories, not just souvenirs, and to return home with a new perspective on the world. I had no idea just how much it would change me, but I knew deep down that Vietnam was calling, and I was finally ready to answer. Hanoi greeted me with a symphony of motorbikes, street vendors, and endless energy. The city's pulse was immediate and unrelenting, a living, breathing organism that seemed to never sleep. From the moment I stepped onto its streets, I was swept up in a current of honking horns, the aroma of sizzling street food, and the vibrant chatter of locals going about their day. It was exhilarating, but also a little intimidating, like being dropped into the heart of a festival that never ends. The old quarter was a whirlwind, overwhelming yet captivating. Narrow alleyways twisted and turned, each one revealing a new surprise. A hidden temple, a vendor selling steaming bowls of pho, or a family gathered around a tiny table. The colors, the sounds, the sheer density of life. It was easy to feel lost, but also impossible not to be drawn in by the city's magnetic energy. I wondered how I'd ever find peace in the chaos. The constant movement made it hard to catch my breath, and I found myself searching for a quiet corner, a moment to pause and reflect. Was it possible to find stillness in a place that seemed to thrive on motion? Then, at sunrise by Hoan Kiem Lake, I watched locals practice Tai Chi, moving with serene grace. The world seemed to slow down as the first light touched the water, and the gentle movements of the Tai Chi masters created a sense of harmony that contrasted beautifully with the city's usual frenzy. It was as if, for a brief moment, time itself paused to watch. In that moment, I learned, stillness can exist in the heart of chaos. The calm on their faces, the deliberate flow of their movements, showed me that peace isn't about silence or solitude, but about finding balance within the noise. It was a lesson I hadn't expected, but one I desperately needed. I found it again in quiet cafes, tucked away from the main roads, where the aroma of strong Vietnamese coffee mingled with the soft hum of conversation. Here, locals lingered over their drinks, reading newspapers or simply watching the world go by. These small sanctuaries offered a different kind of energy, one that invited you to slow down and savor the moment. In the hush of the Temple of Literature, I wandered through ancient courtyards and shaded walkways, feeling the weight of centuries of wisdom. The air was thick with history, and the quiet was profound, a stark contrast to the city outside. It was a place to breathe deeply, to reflect, and to reconnect with myself. And on a plastic stool by the street, I joined locals for a simple meal, surrounded by the sounds of daily life. Even here, amid the clatter of dishes and the laughter of strangers, I found a sense of belonging, a reminder that peace can be found in shared moments, no matter how small. Peace isn't about escaping the world, but finding calm within it. It's about learning to let the noise wash over you without letting it drown you out. In Hanoi, I discovered that tranquility isn't a place. It's a state of mind you can carry with you, even in the busiest of places. Now, when life feels hectic, I remember those Tai Chi masters and the calm they carried. Their presence was a gentle reminder that we can choose how we move through the world, and that grace is possible even in the most chaotic circumstances. Hanoi taught me to move with the world's rhythm, without losing my own. I learned to embrace the city's energy, to let it inspire me rather than overwhelm me, and to find my own pace amid the rush. You can be part of the dance and still hold on to your quiet center. The world will always be busy, but you can choose to move through it with intention, finding moments of stillness wherever you are. It was a revelation I'll never forget, a lesson from Hanoi that continues to guide me, reminding me that even in the most beautiful chaos, there is always a place for peace. In Vietnam, food is a language of love and connection. My first bowl of pho came from a tiny street stall, served by an elderly woman with a warm smile. The broth was rich, the herbs fresh, and the gesture simple but profound. We didn't share a language, but over that bowl, we understood each other. I learned that true generosity isn't about wealth. It's about sharing from the heart. Throughout my travels, I was offered fruit, meals, and kindness, always with a smile. In Vietnam, generosity is woven into daily life, in small, humble acts. It made me rethink what it means to give. The most valuable gifts are time, kindness, and a willingness to share. That bowl of pho was a lesson in humanity I'll always cherish. Sailing into HaLongBay felt like drifting into a dream woven from ancient legends and silent beauty. The gentle rocking of the boat beneath my feet, the cool morning air tinged with salt and mist, and the distant call of birds all combined to create a sense of magic and anticipation. It was as if the bay itself was singing a lullaby, inviting me to leave behind the noise of everyday life and enter a world where time moved differently. Limestone karsts rose from emerald waters like ancient sentinels, their shapes sculpted by centuries of wind and rain. Each formation seemed to tell a story, whispering secrets of dragons and legends long past. The world felt timeless here, suspended between earth and sky, where the only thing that mattered was the present moment. As the sun set, painting the sky in fiery colors of orange and pink, I sat on the deck and let my worries melt away. The gentle lapping of water against the hull became a soothing rhythm, and the sky's reflection on the bay seemed to blur the line between reality and dream. In that golden hour, I felt a deep sense of peace settle over me, as if the world itself was exhaling. In that stillness, I learned the art of letting go. The quiet was profound, broken only by the occasional splash of a fish or the distant hum of another boat. I realized how rarely I allowed myself to simply be, to exist without expectation or worry. The bay, with its endless horizons and gentle embrace, offered a rare invitation to release the burdens I carried. Surrounded by nature's grandeur, I released my fears and need for control. The towering cliffs and lush greenery reminded me of how small my anxieties were in the face of such vastness. I closed my eyes, breathed deeply, and let the gentle breeze carry away my doubts. In that moment, I felt connected to something greater than myself, a sense of belonging to the world, just as I was. HaLongBay taught me to surrender to life's flow, just as our boat surrendered to the currents. The water guided us effortlessly between the karsts, reminding me that sometimes the best course is to trust the journey rather than fight against it. The bay's gentle movement became a metaphor for life itself, unpredictable, beautiful, and always moving forward. Now, when I feel overwhelmed by the chaos of daily life, I remember that peaceful evening and the lesson it brought. I recall the calm waters, the endless sky, and the feeling of being held by something ancient and wise. It reminds me to pause, breathe, and let go of what I cannot control. We can't control the winds, but we can adjust our sails. Life will always bring unexpected changes, but we have the power to choose how we respond. By embracing flexibility and trust, we can navigate even the most uncertain waters with grace. Sometimes the best thing is to trust the journey and let go. Releasing our grip on what we think should happen opens us to new possibilities and unexpected beauty. HaLongBay showed me that surrender is not weakness, but a quiet strength. It was a lesson in surrender and peace I carry with me, a gentle reminder that in letting go, we often find exactly what we need: serenity, clarity, and a renewed sense of wonder for the journey ahead. Hoi An felt like stepping into a living, glowing painting. By day, it was charming. By night, it transformed as thousands of silk lanterns lit up the streets and river. During the Lantern Festival, the town glowed with hope as wishes floated on the water. Releasing my own lantern, I felt connected to everyone around me in a shared ritual of beauty. Hoi An taught me the importance of creating and celebrating beauty in daily life. The lanterns weren't just for tourists, they were a way of weaving light into the community. I realized how often we forget to create small moments of magic for ourselves and others. Now, I try to bring intentional beauty into my own world, inspired by Hoi An's glow. Beauty, I learned, is a necessity for the spirit. The Mekong Delta is Vietnam's lifeblood, a world of rivers, floating markets, and resilience. I stayed with a family making coconut candy, witnessing their hard work and cheerful pride. The grandfather shared stories of hardship, but always with hope and strength. Here, I discovered Vietnam's greatest secret, the unbreakable spirit of its people. Despite a history of struggle, there's a quiet dignity and determination to build a better future. This resilience put my own worries in perspective. The people of the Mekong taught me that true strength is about perseverance and hope. It's about finding joy in simple things and rising after every fall. Their spirit is a lesson I'll carry forever. In Vietnam, language barriers melted away with a smile. I worried I wouldn't connect, but the most meaningful moments needed no words. In a mountain village, I sat with a Hmong woman as she embroidered, sharing silent smiles. A street vendor guided me with laughter. A child showed me his toy. A fisherman shared his catch. These wordless exchanges were the true highlights of my trip. I learned that kindness, laughter, and a helping hand speak louder than words. We're all more alike than different, united by the language of kindness. Vietnam reminded me to be open, observant, and to never underestimate a heartfelt smile. The simplest gestures can create the deepest connections. Sometimes a smile is all you need to feel at home. The rice paddies of Vietnam are breathtaking and humbling. I spent a day with a farming family, learning the patience and effort behind every grain. Planting rice was backbreaking, requiring care and trust in the process. Mr. Bin, the farmer, worked with a meditative rhythm, teaching me that growth can't be rushed. I gained a new respect for the food on my plate and the people who grow it. The experience changed my relationship with food and with patience itself. The rice fields reminded me that the best things in life take time and dedication. Whether it's a dream or a relationship, growth requires patience and gratitude. I left the paddies with a deeper appreciation for life's simple gifts. Gratitude, I learned, is cultivated one small act at a time. Leaving Vietnam, my heart was full and forever changed. I took home more than memories. I carried lessons in stillness, generosity, resilience, and beauty. Vietnam became a feeling, a collection of faces and moments etched in my soul. I learned to find peace in chaos, to give from the heart, and to seek beauty in the everyday. These lessons wove themselves into my life, making me slower, kinder, and more grateful. When I feel lost, I remember HaLongBay's peace, or the lanterns of Hoi An. Travel opened my heart and mind in ways I never expected. If a place whispers to you, listen. It might just change your life. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you feel inspired, subscribe and join our community of dreamers and travelers.